MJ.
Which is his preferred nickname?
Yeah. MJ or LeBron? Is LeBron good enough as far as MJ? Well, I wanted to do a little thing with the numbers today, and I was able to break it down as far as accolades, as far as championships, seasons, playoffs, all-star appearances, MVPs, all teams, defensive and otherwise, scoring, steals leader, and in almost all of those categories, except for two, LeBron James is outnumbered. He has two. He has been a first-team All-NBA 11 times compared to Jordan's 10, and he's been a All-NBA team, whether that's first or second, 13 times versus Mike's 11. Everything else Michael hasn't beat.
A couple of things about that. First of all, all-star appearances, I think you should just erase that statistic because that's voting. I think that's a stupid statistic. He's a 10-time all-star. That just means 10 years he was more popular than other people.
Yeah. I'm kind of inclined to agree, especially because of what we're talking about later, and there's just a ton of snubs in the all-stars selections.
I mean, in all honesty, those of us who are Knicks fans, why was David Lee not an all-star?
Right. Absolutely.
What grounds did they have to say, David Lee, you are not better than... I think even Chris Duhon made the all-star team over David Lee. Maybe it wasn't Duhon.
It's just voting.
Ridiculous. So the all-star, everything else...
But that does not detract from the rest of your debate. So
there's more that I have to say. Now, how would that be different had LeBron retired in the middle of his career?
Well, that's the other argument, because a lot of the stats that I pulled up here, now you're going to see, like, from everything that I gathered, whether it be playoff or regular season, Jordan has a distinct advantage in a couple of areas. Steals, blocks, and points, for one. LeBron does...
So the three big statistics.
But LeBron does take him in assists. He does take him in rebounds. Now, that also includes assists per game and rebounds per game. They're actually not far off. There's only 11-game difference between LeBron and Michael in the regular season. The playoffs is a little different. LeBron has a 38-game advantage on Michael in that particular category. So LeBron's numbers are kind of inflated. Now, I did try and go through and do the numbers, taking what their averages were per game, and tried to factor it in. What would it be if they were even? And the numbers at that point actually shifted a lot closer to Michael than they ever would be for LeBron. To one point, if you look at the points that were scored in playoffs, right now as they stand, LeBron James is 6,163. Michael had 5,987. Now, there's 38 more games that LeBron played. So if you take Michael's 33.4 points per game average and average that out to 38 games, he actually ellipses LeBron by 1,093 points.
That's a lot of points.
That's equivalent to over 2 seasons of playoffs.
Yeah.
That's
which is astounding to me. That, and the other thing was shooting percentage. LeBron has a slight advantage, and I mean slight, with regards to Jordan regular season, but Jordan has a better shooting percentage, foul shot, 3-point, and field goal than LeBron in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, the one thing that in regards to a lot of that is Michael had his clutch gene his entire career. LeBron took a while to develop it.
Yeah.
There were times that LeBron in the playoffs would just, I don't know if he was doubting himself or if he just lost some vision and couldn't see that he had the best shot, but he would pass it up. That's definitely changed. I don't think, if anyone says that he still doesn't have that clutch gene, they are absolute idiots.
I am a huge Michael Jordan fan. I, take this debate with a grain of salt for the most part whenever I hear it. But, what has to be said here is that Michael Jordan, in the beginning of his career, had problems with the Celtics and the Pistons.
Yeah, I was going to say bad boys.
if we want to equate him to LeBron, then that means he would have jumped ship and went to go play somewhere else. And Jordan didn't do that.
I mean,
he just brought the people to him.
Like, he went to the Barons.
If LeBron was as clutch as Jordan is, and that clutch factor that we were talking about, Miami would have never happened.
I disagree, and I think Michael's better than LeBron. I think I might not even have LeBron at number 2. For me, it's a toss-up. I think Michael's number 1.
I don't even have LeBron in my top 5.
I can't determine if I think Wilt or LeBron are better. So maybe we'll say 1, then 2, 2A.
Wait, how is LeBron not in your top 5?
There's so many historical great
because
players
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the leading scorer of all time. Blah, blah, blah.
No, I wouldn't even say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, like, players that,
Like Bill Russell?
No, like, I would equate...
Magic.
Yeah, like, Magic Johnson, I feel, is the most relatable to LeBron James right now, and they're pretty equal.
They both were versatile players. In that documentary that ESPN did that was great. There was a finals game where Magic, who was the point guard, had to play center to replace Kareem.
He got injured.
And they won that game with Magic at center.
Magic is a big guy, though. He's a big
That's
guy.
exactly what LeBron is.
Right, no. LeBron is a power forward.
If we were talking about this generation, if anyone, and I hate to even say this right now, but if anyone was to be compared to Michael Jordan, it was Kobe Bryant, and that is it.
I see the comparison between Kobe and Michael. I think that, well, it depends. What are you talking about? Style of play? Are you talking
I'm talking
about...
not just about style of play, but sheer dominance, how they make their players play better on the court when they're on there, the demand that they have from their teammates, and how they can be so clutch and carry a game right on their shoulders. There's no one that can end a game like Kobe and Michael.
Not the ending of the game because of the position.
They figure out a way to win.
You take away the style of play, I would say then by that argument, Tim Duncan should be in the top 2.
Tim Duncan in my hand, probably in my top 5. Tim Duncan is in my top 5.
I think he'd be in my top 5 as well.
He's probably the best forward I've ever seen play in my lifetime, even in
just
my
the purest of all fundamentals.
He's also an all-around good guy. He's one of the guys that when we were arguing about, LeBron crying to the refs, he's the one that I brought up, and you're like, name one who doesn't. I said Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan was the perennial professional athlete. He was almost a Derek Jeter of basketball.
He very much was.
Except for the one instance when, I don't remember the ref's name, that literally singled him out and started a fight.
Well, sometimes you just got to choose somebody out.
There's times where Jeter got ejected from games and argued with umpires too.
Yeah, everyone, they're human.
Yeah, I mean, they can disagree. And, I mean, these referees have also been known to throw games.
Tim Donaghy?
Yeah, so
Been a little while.
I don't really think much about these NBA referees.
Yeah, I don't...
But Tim Duncan, even coming up, you knew he was going to be something special.
Coming out of Wake Forest?
Yeah, not only Wake Forest, but he got landed in the perfect spot to learn under the Admiral. Like, if you had to learn from one center, David Robinson was one of those dudes.
Definitely understood. So then, I want to ask you this. Who do you have as number 1? Would it be Jordan? Would it be LeBron? Would it be someone else?
Jordan by far. I don't think that there's ever been a player that can dominate a game and control a game the way he can. I mean, I understand that LeBron has a great IQ for the game, knows a play. He's like he's that typical knows 2 moves. He has 2 moves ahead of you before you have your one. He knows what's going to happen before it happens.
Right.
And so he definitely can control a game, but he, like I said, if he doesn't have that clutch factor, you can control the game all you want, but you still don't have, that aspect of knowing that. I think it was a mentality that Jordan had that he knew he was going to win. Like, he just knew it, and he figured out a way to do it. And it was against every single great team in those NBA finals that he played. Every single team had legends on those teams, and he destroyed all of them.
I don't remember who it was. Maybe Pippen, maybe Phil Jackson, said that anytime the game was in Michael Jordan's hands, they could tell they were going to win simply because he was focused. Jordan was focused and thinking about the time that he got cut from his high school team.
Yep.
The coach telling him he's not good enough. He was taking that shot to get back at that coach, saying, "You think I'm not good enough? I've got a Finals MVP."
He's always had that.
Now,
he drops 38 with the flu.
Now,
seriously.
Now that you say that, maybe that's part of the reason that LeBron was so tentative to take that shot.
Because he's always been told, you are the best.
You are the man. You're the one that this rides on. Everything's been on his shoulders from day one.
So then except the chip. Except the chip on his shoulder.
From the Sports Illustrated cover.
MJ had.
Well, yeah, but if you put a guy in that situation, he looked like he was his age at those early points. He looked like he was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to be the one that they're going to be. I don't want to be the fall guy in case I miss this. So he would give it that extra pass.
Yeah, I mean, he was also 3 years younger entering the league than Jordan was.
Well, that's another thing that I find amazing, because the stats and all these things are fine because the games are so close. But LeBron had 2-year jump on him. We're also missing a prime year out of Jordan's playing ability. So the numbers are actually reasonably close. I'd say Jordan has it more in the accolades, certainly more as far as a pure scorer and a defender is concerned, because Jordan actually won and was on a lot more first-team all defensive teams. He was a defensive player of the year. LeBron's never won one. And for him...
I think that's more voting, though, too. I think LeBron could have easily won one.
Maybe, but he hasn't.
I don't...
Jordan's only won one.
If there was an award for greatest perimeter defender of all time, it's LeBron.
And chase down blocker of all time. Those chase down blocks are so fun to watch.
So what I was going to say, the stats are actually pretty close. I mean, LeBron is clearly a better... Because of how close he is to Jordan in a lot of his stats, he even just being behind him slightly in scoring and steals or blocks, LeBron has a pretty decisive advantage in rebounds and assists, which Jordan I still think is better because of the intangibles that Jordan has, no matter what you look at the stats. But I don't know that there really has been a player that can do everything on the court, no matter what you need him to do, like LeBron can. No matter the situation, LeBron can fit into that role.
Right.
Which is insane.
Right. So then the next question... Well, actually, I want to go around. I got your answer, Chuckles. I got my answer. Dan O'Shea, LeBron, Jordan, someone else.
I still think it's Jordan. I think it's closer than Chuckles does, obviously.
I'm just a born hater.
Yeah.
LeBron.
I just, eight finals is nothing to thumb your nose at, and maybe he's not as clutch as Jordan, but he's accomplished a ton, and he's clearly dominated the league for as long as he's been in it. I just wish somehow we could see them play against each other, like one-on-one.
LeVar Ball. I think.
LeVar Ball is the greatest of all time.
Well, we're not putting him in the conversation. He's only number one.
His shoes are much better, apparently. There's going to be so much better.
Oh, yeah, big ball.
Twice as much better.
Oh, are we going to get sued if I say that?
No, so I said or someone else.
Probably. But that would require him to listen to this, and hopefully he'll call.
You want to know how sucky LeVar Ball is? He was a Jets tight end.
Oh.
Dan Beebe, LeBron, Jordan, someone else.
I'd have to probably go with Jordan. You probably won't like this opinion overall, but has to do basically solely on finals. Jordan, of course, going to 6 and winning all 6, and LeBron going to, I think it was
8. I think it's 3 for 3.
So what about Bill Russell's got 11?
No,
but the other thing with that too is that Jordan played every single championship was a different team with different superstars, and LeBron James, and this is going back to 3 weeks ago, I didn't think about this back then, but now, more importantly with this conversation, LeBron James has played the Golden State Warriors 3 times in a row. He knew it was coming.
Well, they've been differently built each time, except for
one
a
extra
couple,
player.
a couple-
Like,
one extra player. That's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Come on,
No big deal.
I understand, but hear me out.
They're
If
getting
you're-
Derek Fisher on there,
If
and
we're,
like all of a
looking
sudden,
if we're looking at the Trailblazers with Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter, if we're looking at the Lakers with Magic Johnson and James Worthy, if we're looking at the Sonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, if we're looking at the Jazz with John Stockton and Karl Malone, if we're looking at the Suns with Charles Barkley